So you should never trust a bank to tell you how much house you can actually afford. If you go to a bank right now and you ask them for a pre-approval letter for $350,000 to buy a house and they tell you, hey, I can actually give you a lot more. I know some people that they actually went to a bank and they were actually very happy when they found out they actually qualified for a lot more house than they actually thought they could get. The idea is this: you never want to trust the bank, and here's why. The bank has one goal and you have one goal also when it comes to being a homeowner. Your only goal, and everyone that buys a house has this exact same goal, most people out there, and that goal is basically, I want to buy this home, but my overall goal is to own it. I eventually want to be the owner of it. I want to own it. I don't want to have a mortgage on it. Well, the bank, their entire goal is not about you owning the property. Their goal is, I want this person to pay me a bunch of money and interest and make me richer and richer and richer. So in this video, I'll show you exactly how to know if you can actually qualify for a $350K house, not based on the bank, but based on your personal finances, which, by the way, is very important, because you want to make sure a house builds up your wealth, not basically holds you like a bird cage and now you're like, I can't sleep in this house because I'm so worried about the payments. That's not what you want. I'll show you how people usually qualify, which is terrible. I'll show you the right way, and then I'll tell you exactly what to do if you don't qualify and what to do if you do qualify. This should be a good video, and don't be sad if you end up saying, hey, turns out I can't afford my $350,000 property. Okay, that happened to me. I had a goal to buy a property that was like over 500K, and I was like, I can't afford this property. And I was like, well, that's terrible. And what happened is it frees you, because now you're open to actually looking up other properties, which is actually great. Things you're actually able to afford. Now, if you guys don't know me, my name is TommyBryson. Do me a favor and smash the like button. Now, the very first thing, guys, is I'm going to show you how the average person goes ahead and tries to figure out if they can actually afford a house or not. Okay, so I love these videos because it's my time to show you guys the houses that I look at and what I like and so on. Okay, so this right here is a house that I think is absolutely beautiful. It is basically selling for $370,000. Okay, I'm saying the owner would probably take $350 for the sake of this video, and they're actually willing to rent it for around $2,800, which is a lot of money. But overall, check it out, guys. To me, it is a beautiful home. Look at this, guys. Absolutely gorgeous. Look at this. Look at this bathroom, right? So usually, when you're looking for a home, everyone does this. They look at it. Oh my gosh, it's so pretty. Look, stairs. There's little rocks here. It's so beautiful. Look at the bathroom, okay? The living room is beautiful. Everything is nice. You kind of fall in love with it. But then it's time to actually know, is this affordable? Can I actually afford this thing? So what I do next is I go over here to my mortgage calculator, and here's where the math comes into play. So I'm going to go ahead and reset this, start brand new. My favorite mortgage calculator is going to be Bankrate mortgage calculator. You can look up online. But overall, people usually do this, okay? They say, well, I want to buy this property. It's $350,000. Boom. I'm going to put down, let's say, 10%. That's all I got. And I'm going to get a 30-year mortgage. Interest rates are 5%. Here's my zip code, okay? So every month, I'm going to be paying around $1,986, including property taxes, including homeowners insurance. But I almost forgot, probably PMI, which is private mortgage insurance, that if you put down less than 20%, you're going to be charged potentially. So that's probably going to be like, let's say like around $120 on average for something like this. And that's going to be like around $2,106. You're like, can I afford this? Well, the answer is, let's actually think about this. Okay, so if you're going to be paying $2,100, and let's say you have a household income of $6,000, well, $2,100 divided by $6,000, that's only going to be, for example, around 35% of your household income. All right, so is it that bad? Tommy, it's not even half. The answer is, on paper, this looks great. And on paper, if you go to the bank with an income of over $6,000, most likely they're going to give you even more money. You could probably walk out the bank with a house is going to be like around 45 to 50% of what your household income actually is. Okay, so is it good or is it bad? Okay, the answer is, this is actually terrible. And you wouldn't know it's terrible because one, you're going to be stuck paying this home for like around 30 years. And you're not really understanding what the overall cost is actually going to be. So here's how I would go about actually looking at this property. First of all, you have to know if you're putting down 10%, that's around $35,000. Closing costs may be around 2%. That's an additional $7,000. I would also set aside at least 1% of the purchase price for maintenance expenses, and that's going to be around $3,500 for a total cash out of pocket of around $45,500. So again, that is a good chunk of cash because now you're not just thinking about this and that, you're also thinking about the down payment, the closing costs, and also the maintenance expense, okay? In case something breaks, which it will break, you have some money on the side to actually take care of things. And by the way, I would actually try to save up a little bit more than 1%, but just for this video, I want to keep these numbers a little lower. Then, what else would I do? Well, I would go over here to my mortgage and basically say, hey, I'm putting down 10%, yes, but I actually want to get a 15-year mortgage. Because again, your goal is to own this property, not to have it for basically like 30 years paying it off, okay? So a 15-year mortgage, that's going to be $2,900. That includes property taxes, includes homeowner insurance, includes PMI, HOA. This property actually has an HOA, but I'm just going to assume that basically there is no HOA in the one you're looking at, but that's $2,900. Now the question is, can you afford this property? So again, let's do the math here, okay? My rule is simple. The home you buy should not be more than 33% of your monthly net income. On a 15-year mortgage, you should put down between 10 to 20%. Why? Because the more money your home takes up, the more tight your budget is going to be. And this is going to be fixed for around 30 years or 15 years with my formula, right? That's the idea. It's a long time. So you don't want to be struggling every month to try to make this payment saying, hey, I just got paid, but half my check is going to the house. That's insane. That is insanity, all right? So overall, let's do the math here, okay? What percentage is 2,900 divided by your income of $6,000? The answer is that's going to be around like 48%, almost like 15% more than you originally thought, because basically what you did was you extended the time, which lowered the payments, which also increased the amount of interest, which also increased the risk, because now you're having to spend this much money for the next 30 years. It's insane, all right? It's insane. So what do you do here now, okay? If you can't afford this house, what are you supposed to do? Well, you have a few options, okay? Option one, well, I can't afford this home. It's time to look at other properties. So what should my budget be? Again, 33% of my monthly income. That's going to be $6,000. I don't want to spend more than around $1,980, including the mortgage, the PMI insurance, the taxes, the insurance, also, for example, HOA fee and anything else. Okay, maintenance is money you're gonna have from the initial, right? So you're gonna have money on the side, so there's no big deal. For the most part, that's the amount. Now, how much house can you afford for that? Well, that's around $250,000 to $260,000 worth of house. So it is a big dip. It's over $100,000 less than you originally thought. So it basically means to be able to afford a house that's going to be costing you, for example, $2,900 a month, which is like a $350K house, you got to be making like around $8,800 almost. That's a lot of money, man. That's a lot of money. How many people do you know that make that much money, right? And the bank is aware of this. So what they do is they say, hey, don't worry about that. Forget the 15 years. Let's do 30 years. Now your payments are lower. And forget about putting down, for example, so much money and so on. Don't worry about that, okay? Just put down even less money, all right? So that's what they basically do. Now, option two is going to be you could just wait and put down a larger down payment. If you do want a house that costs $350,000, which is a lot of money, well, overall, if you put down closer to like around 50%, or not even 50%, there's a little bit too much, but like 40%, now you're closer to your budget, okay? Now for here, you can actually go ahead and afford a property like this, because now with property taxes, insurance, PMI, and everything else, is only about $2,000, and now you can comfortably afford it. But it also means you have to wait until you have $140,000, not including, for example, also the maintenance, which is an extra $3,500, and also, for example, the closing costs, which are going to be like around $7,500 or so, right? So it's a lot of money to actually be saving up, and that could take years, and then before you know it, prices could go up again. So it's all about how are you actually going to do this, okay? So for me personally, for a house of this magnitude, what I would do is, well, if I really, really want the house, you kind of just save up for it and just deal with renting for a while. But you also have the option where you just buy something for the moment and you use that house that's within your budget, and then you basically stay there, keep saving money. And then if in the future things change in the next 5-10 years and you want to move and the house is still available, not the exact house because it won't be available, obviously, most likely, unless you're really lucky, then you can kind of say, I'm going to sell this house, get this much money for it, I have my savings, and then I can basically just buy the house I want to buy, all right? But you should not be buying a house with the mindset of, well, this is the house I'm going to live in forever, so I might as well spend money I don't have. That's a stupid mindset, because you're justifying getting yourself into trouble for the sake of saying, I'm going to be here forever. And most people, they switch houses 11 times in a year. 11 times in a lifetime, all right? On average, 5 to 7 years, every 5 to 7 years, okay? So don't do that. Don't buy things you can't afford with that mindset, because it's just making excuses, all right? But for the most part, guys, that is how you figure it out. That is how you do the budget, okay? So my rule is 15-year mortgage, between a 10 to 20% down payment, no more than 33% of your monthly net income, including all the expenses like taxes, insurance, HOA, PMI insurance. And if you do have, for example, the maintenance expense, then it's just 1% of the property value, or 1 to 3% if you want to be a little bit more conservative overall. But guys, thanks for watching this video. As always, like, subscribe, hit the bell so you're notified. And if you want more videos like this, here's another one. Thanks for watching. Peace.